Hello, welcome back to the HKBU Phonology Lab channel. In this episode, we will talk about how to annotate sounds in Praat. In this sound file, cat and dog, for example, there are 3 words. In doing an annotation, usually we need to mark down the words, and for each word, the pronunciation of its consonants and vowels. In Praat, we do an annotation using text grid. Here's an example of annotation. On the text grid, we have 2 tiers. In this tier, we have the different words, like cat and dog. The words are separated by boundaries. On this tier, we have consonants and vowels. We call it CV. We have consonants such as and vowels such as cat. To create a text grid, we first select the sound and then go to Annotate, to Text Grid. We can specify the name as we want. For example, we can delete this and put CV, the name of the first tier we have seen just now, and word, that's the name of the second tier. We can put a space in between to tell Praat that CV and word are 2 separate tiers. We can leave the point tier as it is because usually we don't need it. Then click on OK. We can see that a text grid is created. To do the annotation, we need to select the sound and its text grid together, and then we click on View and Edit. On this window, we can start the annotation. First, we decide where is the word boundary. For example, by listening cat. This is a complete word. The left boundary of the word is likely to be here. If we click on here, we will see this dotted line marking the time point. On the word tier, we will see a circle. If we click on the circle, a boundary will be created. This will be the left boundary of the word. Similarly, we can click on here if we decide this is the right boundary of the first word. If we click on here, the right boundary of the word will be marked. If we click on the interval between the 2 boundaries, we can check the word cat. We tap the word cat between the 2 boundaries as in the highlighted area. We can do the same for the other words in the same sound file. For example, and dog. Just a note that if there is no pause between 2 adjacent words, the 2 words can share a boundary. For example, this boundary is the right boundary of the word cat, and it is also the left boundary of the word and. If there is a pause between 2 words, we can have 2 boundaries. This is the right boundary of the word and this is the left boundary of the word dog. In Praat, you can move a boundary by dragging it to adjust its position. You can also delete a boundary that you wrongly created. For example, to delete this boundary, we first select it, and then we go to Boundary. Here, Remove. The boundary is gone. After we have decided boundaries on the word tier, we should mark the boundaries on the CV tier as well. The left boundary of the word should be the left boundary of its first consonant, and the right boundary of a word should be the right boundary of its last consonant. To mark a boundary on the CV tier, for example, we can first highlight the boundary on the word tier. we'll see that a circle appears. If we click on this circle, a boundary will be created. This boundary will be perfectly aligned with the boundary on the word tier. We can do the same for the right boundary of the word cat. Click on the circle. We have a right boundary for the last consonant in the word cat as well. And we can do this for the other words. Now let's mark the boundaries between consonants and vowels in the first word, cat. By looking at the waveform and the spectrogram, we can see here's the boundary between the k sound and a sound. And here's the boundary between the a sound and the t sound. For IPA symbols that are easy to type, we can simply type them from the keyboard. For example, here we have k sound, here we have t sound. For typing special symbols, Praat is very user-friendly. For example, to tap the symbol A, you can go to the panel here and click on this symbol. It will be in its position. If you do not see the IPA symbols, you can go to File, Preference, click on Show IPA Chart. Click on OK. The symbols will appear on the right. Then we can do the annotation for the other words in the same sound file. After we have completed an annotation, it's very important to save the text grid file, because if we do not save it, Praat won't save it for us. To save a text grid, we go back to the Praat object window. Remember to click on the text grid alone, and then click on Save. Save as text file. Usually the text grid will be automatically named the same as the sound file, and we can easily save it in the same folder as the sound file. For example, here we simply click on Save. Let's remove these two sounds from Praat Objects window and open the sound file and the text grid to double check. Select them together, view and edit. We will see that all the annotation is saved, including the IPA symbols. Thanks for watching. If you want to know more about how to process speech sounds, please subscribe to our channel. Thanks, bye.